Have you ever gotten to the end of a story and you're like, what? Is that it? Kind of like the Gospel of Mark. Where's the rest of the story? This weekend, we talked a lot about the continuing, unfolding, never-ending story that is the story of the Louisiana Conference. It was a long day. And when we neared the end, we received the devastating news about the volcano in the Congo, which added to the weariness and heaviness of the moment. I was tired, you were tired, we're all tired. And to be honest with you, I had more to say, yet I knew the time was running short. And I'm not apologizing for what I said, because I meant what I said about our connection to the larger church, our need to collectively care for one another, and the need to work on our deficit of trust. I just know I could have said it better. So here's the epilogue, which in the storytelling world is a supplement, words to wrap up the story's action. I don't want you to lose sight of the great work we did this weekend. We received persons into full connection. We commissioned and ordained a new class. We also received a colleague into associate membership. We retired a class of 26. We celebrated the saints who have gone before us. We worshiped. We were introduced to some beautiful litanies that created a sacred space for our work. And by the way, they're on the website and available to you for your use. Do you remember the Congregational Transformation Report from Gloria and Sam? Wow, could you believe all that stuff that's happening in our churches across the connection? I was almost brought to tears as Tiffany Postel reported on the work of the Anti-Racism Task Force and the challenge they have put before us. We celebrated Rob Fairley's retirement as the CEO and president of the United Methodist Foundation and welcomed Chris Spencer into his new role. You heard about the new district configurations. You heard for the first time from our lay leader, Jennifer Swan. Elaine Burley updated you on what's in the works to respond to the most recent flooding as we continue to respond to the hurricanes of last year. There was so much. Don't lose sight of the incredible stories that are being told across the conference. The story continued to unfold in the afternoon, and it was a bit heavier as we deliberated two petitions. The petition regarding anti-racism begins to set a path for our work to tackle a very hard and sensitive subject with grace and deep listening as we hear one another's stories and remain faithful to this important priority. The second petition, while it did not pass, allowed us to hear from one another regarding concerns for our transparency. The petitioner and I will be working together to address the concerns raised while we deliberated and hope to find paths forward that will accomplish the spirit of the petition. This is what holy conferencing is about. The pension trustee and CFA report included important questions. I believe these reports require greater clarity each and every year because of the complexity of the season that we're in. You need to know that these committees are working diligently to be good stewards of the resources entrusted to them so that there can be greater support for ministry across the conference. We've shared more information than ever before, yet I continue to hear concerns about transparency and lack of trust. This deep deficit of trust is very concerning to me. There's no intent to do harm, quite the opposite. The intent is to be the best stewards possible of the resources we have available. This isn't about building a conference budget. The budget is a tool to help you do your work. I do wonder if the trust issue is worsened by the anxiety in the system, maybe because you're tired, I'm tired, maybe it's me, maybe it's you. My hunch is that it's probably all of the above. Because just think about it. It's been over 700 days since we were last together, June 12th, 2019 in Shreveport. Remember that annual conference? Our first in the convention center. We had just elected a new Louisiana delegation to General and Jurisdictional Conference. Just think how much has changed since then. It feels like a lifetime ago. And that distance of days coupled with so much trauma in between has created this chasm. Yet the Holy Spirit has kept this conference moving. We heard about that time and time and again this weekend. We are not stuck. But we all know that Zoom fatigue is real, and it's kept us from so many rich conversations. The conversations we would have had in the hallway at the Hilton or over strawberry pie at Strawn's. The stories we'd share with one another that remind us of our deep connection. Personal stories. Stories that were itching to come out. They just needed the space to be shared. We need to create a space to share, a sacred space. All of us, clergy, laity, conference staff, I need that space. All of us do. There's something about proximity that helps us process our stories of pain and joy, despair, and trust. Listening to one another's story, really listening. My friends, petitions don't create trust. People do. Relationships do. I'm committed to a gathering this fall of the clergy, and I've spoken to our lay leader, Jennifer Swan, about a gathering for the laity. We need to see each other, even if it's 6 feet apart. We at least need to be in the same room, if at all possible. I'm committed to working on issues of trust with you. It's going to require we talk to one another and listen, really listen to one another. I hope to gather some small groups throughout the summer so that we can just talk and listen to each other. It will be hard work, yet sacred work. But I believe together we can narrow the trust gap. It could be a story that impacts generations to come, and it will be ours.